What you guys have in what you guys have in mind, or what do you have in mind, Jaleesa, for this morning?
I didn't have a specific situation that I wanted to go over.
I will come up with one now then. What's the one thing, who are you going to prospect today? And we can practice that exact scenario.
We can do a buyer.
Okay, so is this a like a buyer? What phase of the buyer? Is this like you're on the telephone with them and you're asking them some pre-qualification questions before you set the appointment? Or is this like we sit down at the appointment? What do you want to practice?
We can practice the pre-qual.
Okay, cool. So why don't we set this particular scenario up, which is you have received a referral from, let's say, a friend of yours or whatever, and you were given a like a three-way introduction. By the way, I think that is by far and away the most strategic way to receive a referral, or to encourage somebody to set it up that way, which is, let's say Marquia and I are at the bar and Marquia says, oh, my friend Jaleesa has a her lease is ending, or she just got a new job on the other side of town, she's going to need to move or whatever. I say, oh my gosh, Marquia, first of all, thank you so much for thinking of me.
Something that just happened.
We need a round for Marquia here, right? We want to immediately thank her, whatever it takes, right? In normal circumstances, we might call and say, hey, I was just given your contact information from Marquia, or I'm sorry, Marquia, this is Bill. Thank you so much for connecting me with your friend Jaleesa. You probably think it's a big deal, but it's even a bigger deal. Like, the support of my friends and my past clients and those in my network is just critical to my business. And I just want to express my extreme gratitude for you. Have the warm chocolate chip cookies already gotten to your office yet? Right? I mean, that is one of the most critical things that you could do in this business, is set up a immediate system of thanking the people that are supporting you. Okay. So that goes without, well, that's kind of a bit of a sidebar, but I want to make sure that that's not forgotten. Okay. The best way to make that introduction is a three-way connection. So Marquia, I say, hey, Marquia, can you do a three-way introduction for us? Maybe by text. So she puts us both on a text chain, and she says, hey, Marquia, or I'm sorry, she says, hey, Jaleesa, this is my friend Bill. He's a great realtor. He's real patient. He listens real good. And he has a great network of people that are, can help you through the process. Bill, this is my friend Jaleesa. We went to college together, and, she just moved, or she lives in Smyrna, but she got a job in Duluth. And so she's going to need to move over in that direction. Right. Here's everyone's telephone numbers. Y'all have fun together. See what I'm saying? Don't give them the card and expect miracles to happen. It ain't going to work that way. You need their information as fast as you can get it. Okay. Don't be afraid to tell your referring sources how to help you. Right.
Okay.
Could I ask for a huge favor? What I've noticed is that if you make the connection this way, it doesn't help so much. But if you make the connection this way, it makes all the difference. Would you be willing to do that for me? Boom. Of course, she's going to say yes, because she's nice and I'm friendly and I said it the right way. And now, I'm so glad you're laughing, Lorinda. You guys, all you guys are probably laughing. I just can't see you, right? Okay, so I don't get any laughs on that. So now Jaleesa is going to call me. So let's switch around the scenario a bit. I am the person who just got a new job. Or just got a new job and needs to move to the other side of town. Jaleesa is friends with Marquia, who sent the referral. So you're going to call me and introduce yourself and ask me some basic questions. And the goal of this conversation is to let me know, or is to book an appointment. We want to book a appointment to have a buyer kind of seminar, orientation, presentation, consultation, whatever you want to call it. The goal is to get in person with me and tell me how great you are.
Jaleesa, can I give you a hint?
Yes, ma'am.
In the drive, there is the buyer intake sheet. And
I was looking for it.
I'll look for that, and if I can find it, I'll post it in the chat.
All right, I'll make it that much easier for you guys. Just so you can follow along. This is my first time sharing my screen, so sometimes it doesn't work that well the first time.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with always having this printout with you so that you don't forget to ask questions. And if you do forget to ask questions, you can always call back and say, oh, I was thinking about you and I realized that I needed to ask you a couple more questions. Is that okay with you? So if you get nervous and don't ask all the questions all at once, or you don't have your sheet with you and you forget some things, you can always go back and do that. But there's nothing wrong with having that sheet. Nobody expects you to memorize every aspect of this business.
Okay. However, what you said is completely right. And interestingly enough, Tammy talked about this during Bold, right? She said that everyone on her team that's making calls or receiving calls has two colored sheets of paper in front of them at all times, right? And like, let's say the green ones are the buyer intake sheets. And let's say the yellow ones are the seller intake sheets. So as she's on the phone with these people all day long, what's happening is, assuming, depending on how all the conversations go, she might realize, oh my gosh, I might be on the phone with a future buyer here. And she reaches up to the green sheet and she start asking the questions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, Jaleesa, can you see the buyer information sheet here?
I actually have it pulled up on my laptop. I found it.
Beautiful, even better. Okay, well, I'll keep it up there for everyone else to see as well. Can everyone else see this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll be the friend, you be the agent. Let's go. Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hello?
Bill.
Hello.
Hi, this is Jaleesa. How are you?
Oh, hey, Jaleesa, you're Marquia's friend, right?
Correct. She gave me your contact information, asked me to give you a call regarding your move. You're looking for a new home.
Yeah, absolutely. My family lives over in Smyrna now, but I got a job promotion and the new office is going to be over in Duluth. So we're thinking about moving in that direction.
Okay. So how soon do you need to move to?
Well, really, as soon as possible. I don't know if you've ever done that drive from one side of town to the other, but I don't really like it so much. I'd like to move sooner than later.
Yes, I understand. How soon are you starting your job?
Monday.
Okay, perfect. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been looking forward to this for a long time.
Okay, I can understand that. So I'm sorry. So if you don't find a new home in this time frame, how would that affect you?
Well, I really wouldn't. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I hear the market's really hot. I've got a home to sell. I do need to sell it before I buy in Duluth. But you're also able to help with that, right?
Absolutely. Can you tell me about the current home you're in now?
Yeah, it's a 3-2. It's off of exit 17, and we've lived in the home for a couple of years. It's got a big backyard.
Okay. Any recent updates you made to it?
We put in a fence, and we switched out a couple light fixtures, but other than that, we haven't done a whole lot.
Okay. And tell me the kind of house that you would like to be moving into.
So we're hoping to get a 4th bedroom, and we'd really like to have a basement. So, and we'd also like to be in like a community that has like a swimming pool.
Okay. Have kids?
We do. We have 3 kids.
Okay. Okay. Have you spoken with the loan officer?
I have. I think I'm going to be a pretty easy file. I've got a new job. It's got a higher salary, no credit things, and ready for the down payment. I do need to sell before I buy, but I don't think that'll be much of a trouble.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so because you are selling before you buy, I'm trying to think, how do I go about that? There is a program for that.
Remember our goal.
Okay, so the goal is the appointment. Okay, so is there a good time frame that you would like to sit down and meet and further discuss your options?
Are you available tomorrow?
I'm not available tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. How about Saturday? Are you available over the weekend?
Yeah, I could do Saturday. Could you do 1 o'clock?
One. I have a commitment at 1:30. Would 2 be okay?
So you got a commitment at 1:30, but you're gonna be able to meet with me at 2?
2 or 3. I'm sorry. That doesn't make sense.
I'm just playing with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 o'clock can be okay.
Okay. Yes, 3 will work perfect for me.
How long do
Yeah.
you think we'll have to talk to? I'm pretty busy that day. Can you, how much time should I allot?
At least an hour.
At least an hour. Okay. Okay. Anything that I can prepare for you?
If you can, let's see. At the moment, I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you and let you know what you can prepare for me.
Okay. All right. I'll see you at 3 then.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was good speaking with you.
Likewise. Okay. Let me give you a couple of pieces of feedback real fast.
Okay. I'm taking note.
First of all, you had 20 minutes to prepare, not even really that. So thank you for having the courage to do this. You know, we only get better by practicing.
Right.
And practicing in front of a group is even more challenging. So good job on that.
Thank you.
My first note was you needed to congratulate me on the job, but then you ended up doing that. So great job on that. You know, if I can give you like, I'm going to be pretty candid here. Don't take this the wrong way.
No, I want to know how you are, Bill. Go ahead.
Okay, like take the like excitement level up a tiny bit.
Okay.
Right? Like there was a lot of like kind of monotoneness, if you will. Right? So
I get
just look for an opportunity to like show how like excited you are, how much fun we're gonna have together, or like you could have asked me a couple questions about like, you know, what's your new responsibilities, or what's your new job, or, you know, if you knew what I did, then you could probably take some guesses. Well, actually, before I go there, does anyone want to guess what personality profile I am based on how I answered those questions?
Well, you asked how long it was going to take, so that's D, right?
Yep, good guess.
So
I also answered the questions very short and sweet.
briefly, very
Right?
briefly.
I got a 3-2 with the backyard. Next.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
Jaleesa, I just want to say one of the ways, because this is like, you know, you don't know the person, right? You're trying to develop a relationship, but you also have to get these questions answered so you can help them. One of the tricks that you can do is to put a mirror in front of you and smile the whole time. And when you smile, that comes out in your voice, right? Or if you don't want to look at yourself because that's distracting, because you're like, oh, my hair's out of place, or whatever it is, then put a picture of something that makes you smile, like a beach scene or something like that.
Okay.
yeah, great suggestion.
Thank
Yeah, so I was certainly a D the whole way through, right? I answered the questions very short and sweet. You know, you could have said something like, or you did say something like, you know, tell me a little bit about the house you'd like to buy, or tell me a little bit about what you've done to your current house. I could have been like, oh, well, we went to like, you know, Macy's and like picked out these really like, you know, this particular kind of fabric for the, you know, window treatments, and like they're like light blue, and like we almost picked the dark blue, but then we ended up picking the light blue. Like if
And
I
you'd
had
be
like
high.
rambled on about like all that kind of stuff, I'd be a high I.
Yeah.
Right? But
So that's
instead,
more specific.
well, D is a little bit more about like valuing my time, if you will. Right? It's like I got a 3-2. What's your next question? Right?
Okay.
I got a backyard. Yeah, it's small. Next question. It's like very fast, right? It's like I don't want to waste time. It's like get to the point. If you got
And when
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and when he says, how long is it gonna take? For a D, when you say at least an hour, that's like, oh, torture. So
Right.
you want to be very confident and say, and this is practice, Jaleesa, so you did great. But you want to just say 30 minutes minimum, depending on the questions you have.
Or
Okay.
you could even put the maximum, say probably no more than an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say less.
Rather than
hour.
saying an hour, you could say no more than an hour.
Right.
Oh.
Right. And then if you ask me how, what I want in my next home, and I spend 5 minutes rambling about every little fine detail, you need to make sure that you don't allow that to happen when we meet in person. Meaning,
Okay.
so just so you know, our meeting will take no more than an hour. Meaning, I'm going to cut you off after an hour and walk out of that house, whether I got the listing or not, because I can't handle talking to you for another hour.
Right.
Yeah, I have a suggestion on that as well too, because I had a script practice yesterday as well.
Yeah, please.
And one thing that I was actually able to do is once we read the script first, just out loud, just to have an understanding as to what the script is talking about, and then we just did different objections as to like real case scenarios. But one case was hey, how long would the consultation take? And I said, depending on if you are pre-approved, I could have a lender on the call that could take about 30 minutes, and then I could take another 30 minutes. Would you prefer for me to have a lender on for you? You can get in contact with the lender, but it also makes it seem as though you are, looking out for their best interest, because you said that I don't think it'll be an issue for me to get pre-approved, leaving the question open that you necessarily haven't been pre-approved, so you can kind of put your person in front of them that you trust, that know that they can close the deal. Not saying that they have to go with that person, but the option to be there.
Right. So there's a way to do basically everything you just suggested and get the information that you need. And when I said, yeah, I shouldn't be a problem with the loan, I think I'm pretty easy file, Jaleesa could have said, oh, great. So what's the amount of loan that you've been pre-approved for? So you can give me the benefit of the doubt that I am pre-approved while still moving forward with the question. Because if I haven't gotten pre-approved or chosen to speak with a lender, at that point, that would be appropriate for me to admit that, right? Oh, I haven't spoken to a lender. And then she could say, oh, well, let's get a lender on the call at the same time, right? Or I would say, oh, I'm pre-approved for 400. And then she doesn't have to ask me additional questions about something that I clearly don't want to talk a lot about.
Right.
Make sense? Okay, the other thing, so a high D, again, values time, okay? Everyone knows this, but obviously the more you practice, the less you'll say things like and hang on, let me look at that. If somebody says, how can I prepare? Again, that's another sign of I'm probably a D, because I want to just get it organized and get it ready so I can hand it to you. Remember, there is closings specifically for personalities. This is probably my favorite part of this class last week, right? It sounds like I've answered all of your questions. You appear to be someone who knows what they want and wants to get the job done. Put me to work for you and we can get started on the process today. I just need your signature in a couple places, right? That's a little bit more appropriate for like when you're in their face and you've already gotten the meeting and you've already gone through all the series of questions and the orientation and all that. But it says like you could say something like, well, it sounds like you want to get right to the point, and I'll have this ready and this ready and this ready for you. All I need is that. You never want to say, well, I don't know what to do to help you get ready. Just say, oh, no worries. We'll talk all about on Friday. Right.
Yes.
If you can't think of something, just skip it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Anyone else have any thoughts or notes on that?
I just want to say, Jaleesa, I guarantee if you did this again, you'd feel more comfortable, you'd feel more confident, and it would flow a little better, because it's just what Bill said. You want to try it again?
No, I'm just saying I plan to, like, even not today, tomorrow, whenever, I plan to do more role playing and script practicing, because I have not done as much as I can. So I know that it will help me further.
Yeah, and it's just, for instance, if I make, even to my database, before I make phone calls, I give myself a little bit of mental warm up, and I'll be like, okay, I want to make sure, and I'll make some notes. Like if I'm calling Bobby, I know his dogs, he got a new dog, let's say that. So I'm going to ask about the puppy. So I'm just going to make a note, because, I can get distracted. We can all get distracted, and we can all get, if they throw something at us, it's a little different with your database, but I like to just have a little bit of role play with myself Kind of
Yeah.
like if I'm going on a
That's
job
all
interview,
all
right?
the role playing I've done is with myself. So
You
this
did
will be-
good. You did
Thank
really,
you.
you did great. And I mean, it's not comfortable asking those questions for the first time. So
Thank
yeah,
This is Nadine. My feedback too was that Bill mentioned he had 3 children. You could follow up a little bit on that just to get
Yeah.
their ages, because maybe the school district is important to that client. So, and
very
also
good.
you could
Thank
send
you.
over the buyer's presentation ahead of time when he was asking you, is there something he could do? You could say you could send over the presentation for him to look at, and that would reduce the amount of time you would do in terms of face-to-face.
It's almost
Thank
like the buyer, it's almost like the buyer's version of a pre-listing package, right? It could still have the
What to
same
expect from
information
me.
about your brokerage. It could still have the information about, you know, who you are and some client testimonials. It could have a couple things about, like, you know, maybe some commonly used real estate terms or something like that. Just a couple of things that are informative. It could have a slide or two about the marketplace. And Nadine, great idea. You could send that ahead of time. Hey, I'm going to send you a couple of little packet of information to review. And that we'll be able to spend a little bit more time focused on your specific needs when we're together. The other thing that you started to go there and I cut you off, but you know, it sounded like you were going to explain, like, hey, we've got this program that'll allow you to do this and this and that, right? You could, the purpose of the phone call is to set the appointment.
Right. And
However,
that's the appointment.
the purpose of the phone call is also, in a weird kind of way, is you got to get them excited about the appointment or scared not to take the appointment, right? So you
Mhm.
could say things like, oh my gosh, we have a number of programs that are perfectly designed for people in your situations where they need to sell before they buy. We even have some that might be able to help with renovation costs. I'd love to share those details with you when we're together. When would a good time be to get together, right? So you can kind of tease it a little bit, let them know that if they don't talk to you or they're talking to somebody else and they don't bring up these things, they may not be getting the best, you know, match, best agent. So you kind of tease them to say, hey, there's a lot of information out there and a lot of misinformation out there. So my goal for our meeting is to help you understand how to best prepare yourself and best protect yourself. And we'll talk about the market and how to be successful in the marketplace. Because you have to sell, there's a number of products that can help you in a very specific way. So I'm excited to share those with you. Right?
Thank
Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Candace, any more thoughts?
nope, I'm just listening to all the good things you're saying.
Yeah.
And Lauren, did I cut you off?
No, I was waiting to jump in. I
Okay.
do have a question because
I
in the
almost
middle,
cut you off.
in the middle of your presentation, you kind of flipped the script on her and started to talk about the fact that you have a house to sell. Should she have stopped to entertain some of the questions on the seller sheet, or continue just handling the buyer side?
You know, that's a really good question, and I didn't intentionally do that, just so you know. But that's it's very common that what happened, what I did, will happen, right? So that's just proof that you need quick access to those scripts, and you need to be so familiar with them that you could pivot. And Jaleesa actually did a really good job on that. You know, tell me a little bit about your home. You know, what are you looking for in your next home? These kind of things, right?
Okay.
Okay. Robin's blowing me up for my numbers.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah.
read your WhatsApp.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting. See, guys, I'm
No,
getting blown
read,
up for my numbers.
sorry, read the chat.
Oh, okay. Hang on. All right, chat. Oh, okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Was that helpful, Jaleesa?
Yes, absolutely. It really was. Thank you so much for all the feedback too.
My pleasure. Okay, let's do one more. Nadine, you had messaged me a little earlier this morning about a specific situation. Do you want to role play that one?
Okay, sure.
All right. All right, cool. So so let me just make sure I Well, actually, why don't you, Nadine, just tell us briefly what you sent out and what specific question you have, and then I'll role play that with you.
Okay, so what I sent out was just like a little calendar, calendar with a calendar magnet with my business card attached to it. And it has like just recipes for each month. I just sent it to my sphere. So I wanted to like see what's the most appropriate way just to follow up with them on that, versus coming across all salesy. Some of these persons I really haven't spoken to in a minute. So I just needed like a little icebreaker or something.
Okay, cool. So I would in general, I would essentially consider that to be a care call. And the only thing that would sound slightly different is, hey, did you get a chance to, or did you get the piece of mail, or have you gotten a chance to make the cake or whatever? Were all the recipes the same?
Yeah, well, each person, yeah, the recipes are different. Each month has a separate recipe.
No, but like, is it the same? Like everyone got a recipe to make a chocolate cake in December or something, right?
Yes, it's the same
Okay.
recipe for everyone. Mhm.
All right, and did you keep one so you know what
Yes, I
you can
did.
reference? Okay, cool. Okay, so you, let's just say that the cake in or the recipe in December is the chocolate cake or something, right? So you could call every single one of them and say, hey, did you get that cake yet? Is that right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Because you know that everyone got a recipe card and it's the same recipe for each of the months, right? So now I have 100 people that all basically should be making chocolate cakes in December or something, right?
Okay.
Okay, so that, let's just say that's the case. So you can bring that up in our dialogue.
Okay.
But I wouldn't overcomplicate it. Basically, if these are people that you haven't spoken to in a while and you kind of initiated the conversation by putting this thing in the mail, then that can be just one of the things that you break the ice with on the conversation. And then you can very quickly then move into just a standard care call. Make sense?
So Bill, you want to role play that part and then I'll be the person receiving that?
No, I'm the person receiving that. You're the agent.
I just wonder.
Nice try.
She wants to see how you do it.
I know she does. That's what the feedback part is for. Okay. I don't want to be that person. So who wants to be the agent if it's not going to be Nadine? Candace, you want to try it?
I can be the agent, Bill.
All right, good. All right, good. I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy, although I kind of did. All right, Markia, ring, ring. Hello?
Well, I thought Nadine was going to be the person. Okay, so you're going to be the person that receives it. I'm going to be an agent.
You're going to be Nadine.
I'm going to role play with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Bill, it's Markia. How you doing today?
Oh, hey, Markia, how you doing? I got your recipe thing in the mail. It's been a long time since we've talked. What's new?
Yes, awesome. That's what I was calling to see. The mail is like 5 to 7 days now, so I tried to time it perfectly. So I'm glad that you said that you received it.
Yeah.
How's everything been? How's everything been with you and your family?
Good. Thank you for asking. We actually had a big family thing at our house, and your chocolate cake recipe was just in time. Thanks for thinking of us.
Awesome. That's what I wanted to see. Where you're gonna have time to make it for the holidays and
Yeah, we already
see
made it.
how did it turn out. I actually I made it myself, and I think it turned out pretty well. So
Yeah.
I know you have a big family, Bill. So I definitely thought about that you would be able to utilize that recipe for the holidays.
Yeah, thank you again. We've already had it. We had a lot of compliments from my friends and my some cousins.
Nice. So what's been going on, Bill? It's been a long time since we spoke, and like I said, I just wanted to give you something for the holidays to have with your family. So I just wanted to call and check in and see how everything's going with your job, family.
Yeah, things are good. My kids are happy and healthy, and my wife actually took a new job. She is working kind of on the other side of town right now.
Oh wow!
You know,
she was doing photography for so long. Is she still doing that, or did she find something else?
So she's still doing that, but she actually got a job. She's going to be working in Duluth now, and as you know, we live in Smyrna, so it's a little far away. But
wow.
all is good. I can't complain.
That's a big hike. Are you all thinking about making a transition over, or is she gonna maybe test it out for a little while to see if that's something that she'll be interested in?
You know, I think she's going to test it out. I don't think we're in such a hurry to move, but hey, you never know. You know, keep us on your list or whatever. But you know, I don't think we're going to probably do anything right now.
Okay. And how old are your kids now? Are you all looking to downsize soon? They should be going to college, right?
Yeah, yeah. One's a junior and one's a freshman in high school.
Wow, they're growing up so fast.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Oh, I am actually great. It's been I'm still doing real estate, so it's been a great year in real estate. The market is starting to take a shift, so I'm glad you asked that because I'm actually looking at putting people on my database for the next year, hence the calendar for 2022.
Yeah.
So I would love to connect with you in maybe about 3 months or so and add you to my calendar just to see how that job is going in Duluth, see if that's going to be too much of a hike for, and especially with the kids transitioning. How does that sound that I maybe connect with you in about 2 or 3 months just to see how everything's going?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Well, hopefully by then you'll have some more recipes made and we have more things to talk about to see how the recipes are working out.
All right, sounds good. All right.
All right, Bill. Thank you for taking my call.
I got a couple things on that one. I know we put you definitely on the spot. But I think as soon as I teased that I might have a real estate need, you took it in you did a and went into almost like a sales call rather than the care call, right? So I would just be aware of that. Remember that the structure or the model for the care call is some of the stuff you did, right? Family, occupation, and then as soon as I mentioned a new job, you forgot to talk to me about the other things. I know it comes out naturally, and I probably say it sometimes too, but be very careful about saying I'm still in real estate, right? That word, I don't like that phrase. I'm still in real estate. And the idea there is you're almost shocked yourself that you're still in real estate, or you think that others might be shocked that you're still in real estate, right? Just say real estate is going great, right? I'm having a lot of fun. There's a lot of opportunity out in the marketplace. I'm able to help a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers. Don't tell them you're busy, because then they'll be like, oh, she's too busy for me. But don't use the word still. You use the word shift also, but then you didn't necessarily tell me what that meant, right? So
well, I guess the thought process was to leave it open for if that, not to make it so real estate, and to kind of still talk about your wife and the job, to say, hey, I'm gonna add you all to the database for another care call and another, a few months or so. But no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. The other thing is this is also going to sound direct, but I don't really want to be in a database. You see what I'm saying? Don't ask for now you know that you should call me in a couple months. Don't ask for permission to do it, right? You're just do it. You don't need to ask for is it okay if I call you in a couple months? Because if they say no, what am I going to do? Not call? I want to call. There's a deal there most likely, right? So don't even ask them for that permission. Just assume that, look, you have a potential desire, some questions around moving. You like me and I like you. That's what I do for a living. Of course I'm going to call you. I don't even need to ask permission for that, right? And you're already in the database because that's how I mailed you the thing in the first place, right? I know I'm picking on you a little bit, but I just take this kind of globally here. But just be aware of I don't think anyone wants to be in a database, right? They want relationships, right? So the part of the relationship is checking in on my kids as they're growing older, checking in on my wife to see if she is enjoying her new job, checking in to see how the January recipe of the strawberry shortcake or whatever tasted, right? Or maybe you send her a picture of the strawberry shortcake that you took and said, hey, I was thinking about you, when I made this. You see what I'm saying? Does all that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts, comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I understood the transition that she did oh, I know what I was gonna say. Okay, so you all seem as if you were friends during the first transaction. So there's some sense of camaraderie there, and she was able to circle back to that. But what if it wasn't as friendly as you made it in this particular example? And she still needed pieces of information. How would you interject? Like, for instance, if she needed your email, she had the address, has the phone number. How would you interject asking for that, those other components that you may need?
All right, great question. But the one thing that you alluded to that's really, really important, but didn't specifically say, is why do you think it sounded like it was familiar? Why did you think that it sounded like we were friends?
She was upbeat and she knew a lot.
What did she know?
She knew to ask about your wife. She remembered that your wife was in photography.
Yes, that's exactly
okay.
that's where I was headed.
Okay.
Okay, now how did she know that?
Because you already had a relationship with her and she was able to remember, or because it's already in her database that your wife was in
Yes,
photography.
exactly. If you can remember, just as a sidebar, if you can remember every little thing about every person in your network, you don't got enough people in your network. Okay. So the fact that she recalled that either means she's got a great memory, or she was in front of her database, which was full of data at the time she called. Make sense?
Yes.
So that was critical. Great job on that, Markia. Great job on that, Lorinda, for recognizing that. So what does that tell us? That tells us the more we know about our people and the things that are important to them, like their job, their family, their spouse, their kids, etc., their hobbies, where they like to go on vacation, what kind of food they like, whatever, stuff they post about on social media, all that, right? The more familiar that conversation is going to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now what
Yeah, one
happened?
thing I'm a little go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, now, if let's say she was lacking my email, right? So she might say something to the effect of, I have this new piece of technology that I would love to have you test out, right? It's called a neighborhood nurture. And what the neighborhood nurture does is it sends you an update every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks on the activity going on in your neighborhood, right? Would that be of interest to you? You can click on it, it's totally free. You can search by neighborhood, whatever it is. Would that be of interest to you? And she'd probably say yes, or I'd probably say yes. And then you'd say, well, let me make sure I get your email for that, right? Or, hey, what I'm doing in 2022, now you better do it if you say this, but what I'm doing in 2022 is sending out a monthly newsletter, or quarterly newsletter, or something like that, to my to the folks in my community, not to the people in my database, right? To my the clients in my community, and sharing with them some local events, or vendor relationships, or real estate statistics and news and that kind of stuff. I'm looking here and I don't know how this is possible, but I don't think I have the best email for you, right? What is that best email? Don't be afraid to ask, but try to be willing to barter for it, meaning I'll give you this if you give me your email. Make sense?
Right. Yes.
Or ask more questions to figure out something I need or want that I don't have. Like you could say, hey, we're putting together a vendor list. Our real estate team is putting together a vendor list for the year, and I wanted to see, once we're done, would you like me to send that to you? I can send it to you via email. What is the best email for you now, right? Or she could say something like, hey, do you have any plans to do any renovations or anything like that around the house? Like, she could be digging for things that I need, right? Like, hey, you have you traveled anywhere? Are you going to be traveling anywhere recently? Oh yeah, we're going to the beach in January. Oh, where are you going to the beach? Oh, I'm going to Panama City. Oh my gosh, you've got to go to this restaurant in Panama City. I'll email you the information, right? Like, find something that you can share with them, and then share it with them through the medium that you lack. Markia, what were you going to say?
Oh, I said, I guess maybe I'm a little confused by the, because I guess you want to call for a care call, but then if the conversation, because I guess I was more so waiting for you to ask me as well too, how's everything with you, so that I can talk about real estate. to make it, I guess,
I'm a high
to make
D.
it real.
You remember? I forgot
Huh?
to ask about you.
Yeah, you did. But I was waiting on that part, because if you didn't bring it up, then it just would have been a regular care call. But when I shifted the conversation to real estate, I guess, and then your feedback was, well, we want to make sure that we don't just dive right into real estate. I thought that would kind of be the overall goal, was for of course, to make the conversation about them, and then if they shifted to, well, how are things going with you, then you kind of want to talk about real estate a little bit and maybe see what their needs or interests may be. Because I thought that would be the whole reason for just kind of sending them something or making the care call, to stay relevant, to know that think about me when you think of real estate.
Interestingly, this is why this type of stuff is so important, because there's so many nuances here. So what we had set up was Nadine sent out a message, then Nadine is calling. So
Right.
if she calls, she's calling people that have not raised their hand and said, oh my God, it's Nadine the realtor. Let me call Nadine the realtor because I got some real estate questions, right? So those calls are going to be more care calls, just with sprinkling in, did you get the recipe thing? Because she's not aware of any real estate need. If they were to call her, then you maybe could assume that they had a real estate need, right? So you might dance around like, hey, do you have any real estate goals for 2022 that I could potentially help you with, right? It's more of you have more of a reason to you have more of a reason to bring it up. Now, what I was trying to do, I was trying to get you to shift away from real estate by saying, hey, we're going to wait a couple months or something like that. And then so
But I feel like you really wouldn't be an agent if you hear somebody say, well, not saying you wouldn't be, but if somebody's driving from Duluth to Smyrna and then they mention that it's a hike, and then you don't really kind of bring up like, oh, that seems like that's going to be a hike for her, and kind of go into, well, do you think she's going to try it out a few months, just kind of maybe bring that conversation up, because at the end of the day, you are still trying to gain a client.
You did.
So I guess
you actually did that.
I'm just a little confused as to, you say like don't focus too much into real estate, but I feel as though I kind of shifted into real estate by saying like, oh, like the photography, or that's going to be a shift, like, do you think she's going to try it out a few months, by not trying to make it so much of a real estate and trying to make it still relevant on the job. So
you actually did it really nicely.
You did.
You actually you did shift appropriately. But when I said, we're going to give it a shot for a couple of months, that's when I would have probably gone back to more care call type questions. And then at the end, I might have wrapped it up by saying, keep me in mind, how things are going with the commute. If you have any questions whatsoever, if you find a home if you happen to be browsing online and you have a question about something, just feel free to give me a call, because I basically
versus saying going directly into the database, like I would like to follow up. So
well, again,
shift that part.
I'm going to follow up regardless. So I'm not even going to bother asking you for permission, because I'm going to follow up regardless. The only way I'm not going to call you is if I see your obituary somewhere, like you're getting a call. That's simple, right? I don't care if you say never call me again. I'm going to call you anyway, because you have a desire to move. And if you don't work with me, somebody's not going to take as good a care of you as I would. Right. So when somebody says, like, I was almost saying like, let's not talk about that now. I kind of want to give that a break. And then you could go back into, oh, so, do you guys have any plans for the holidays or something like that? And then you could circle back to, hey, if you have any questions as you're, navigating the commute, just let me know. Right. But you did great. That part was, you actually did really well. And our conversation was you could have pushed to talk a little bit more, and I probably could have pushed to talk a little bit more, meaning extended the conversation.
Yeah, and there's something else, and this is kind of, you can use or not, but my husband has taught me that AIDA formula. A stands for attention, I stands for interest, D stands for demonstrate, and A stands for action. And so he's always like, how do you get somebody's attention? So if I were calling, depending on your personality, I might be like, hey, Bill, how are you? And if he says, hey, how are you? I'd say, I've got chocolate on my mind. And then you can segue into, did you get my cake recipe? Did you get the cake recipe? That kind of thing. That's just a nuance of, it makes it fun because they don't know what to expect when you call. It's not like, hey, this is Candace, I'm calling because of real estate. I sent you this because I'm trying to solicit your business. It's more that, hey, when Candace calls, I never know what to expect, and it's going to be fun.
I love that. I love that. Nadine, what did you hear? What was listening to that conversation like for you?
I thought Markia was doing a good job. I hadn't thought of some of the things that you highlighted that she probably shouldn't have done. So that was a learning moment for me because I thought she was doing such a great job. But all in all, I really think she did a good job, and I see your point of view on what to do a little different. And I appreciate Candice's icebreaker. It was a great takeaway for me.
Yeah. And by the way, it's a tough situation to ask for courageous volunteers to step out and do
Yeah.
this publicly, knowing that I'm making a list of things that are going to sound like things you did wrong. And so, number one, I want to just again voice my gratitude to those that are stepping forward and that are willing to take the feedback constructively. And everyone that participated today did great. My feedback is just in an effort to, just think about it a different way, or think about it from a different angle, or instead of saying this word, say this word, right? It's not saying that Markia sucks on the phone. It's saying like, Markia is a 9 now, and if she wants to be a 9.01, then she can take some of these advices, and then she'll practice again, and she'll be a 9.02, right? You're just getting 1% better every day.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yeah, agreed. Everybody did great. And I agree that it takes some nerve to be able to get out in public, but when we do that, everybody gets to learn from your bravery. So
Yes.
I saw a movie the other day, and the dad was saying to the son, just have 20 seconds of courage. And I love that. Just 20 seconds of courage.
Tracy, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to share, but I'm driving and it's crazy out here. But I had a situation last night where someone called me, a potential buyer, and right off the bat, they said they just sold a home in Florida. They're going to use the cash for that. They don't want to spend no more than $320, and they gave me all of this stuff. So I just quickly pulled out a buyer intake information sheet and took all the information and said, I'll, see what I can find out for you. But I didn't know how to, they kept bringing back the cash buyer. We should be able to get what we want. We should be able to get what we want. We're a cash buyer. So I didn't know how to talk about that. And I didn't. I just said, okay, I'll make sure I get back to you with whatever, So how would you handle something like that?
I think that I could very quickly, if I didn't know any better, I could very quickly use that as a moment of contention, right? I could say, hey, well, basically everybody's a cash buyer now. You can use Ribbon, you could, there's iBuyers out there, you can use, what do you call it? Knock and these other kind of companies. Like, there's nothing special about you because you got cash, man. And then when I try to book the appointment, they're gonna be like, you're a jerk, right? So I would probably just skip all of that and say, wow, congratulations on selling your home, right? We're in Florida.
I did that, yes.
Get them talking, and then say, well, it sounds like, working together is gonna be a lot of fun. When can we meet so I can get to know you and your situation better? Sounds like we should meet, right?
Okay.
And then when he sits, or he or she sits down at that meeting and says, well, I got a bunch of cash, I should be able to, bully my way into whatever I want. If that's the approach they use, then you could just say, well, let me share with you some information about the marketplace, right? And remember, people don't want to be made wrong. You can share with them, what the market is like, because 325, basically everybody's a cash buyer, right? Open Doors buying them all. Right. So the thing is like, that guy's not going to stand out from anything. What does he think? Because he's got cash, he's going to buy it for 30% off the list price? We need to figure that out. But we don't need to figure that out on the telephone before the meeting. Let's get the meeting.
Right. Yeah, I kind of figured that much, but I didn't know, because I really don't know so much about the market. I'm not comfortable with that type of information. But I did say, okay, I'll take all of that into consideration and we can go from there. And
Great.
I think I may have said something about, houses are not staying on the market long. So I understand your cash offer kind of situation. I didn't know.
Well, you could also insinuate certain things. You could say like, as I'm sure you know, homes are moving very quickly. So it's a very competitive market out there. We can spend some time when we're together on Thursday discussing those details so I can help you be as successful as possible, right? Give them some credit. Hey, I'm sure you've done your research, right? You must know it's a strong seller's market. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then if I can be super candid with you, we got a lot of data, right? We got the MMOs, the monthly market overviews, we got the Chartmaster slides. Don't allow yourself to say you're not strong on the market, right? Spend time today and more time tomorrow and more time the next day studying the details, right?
Okay.
Understand the monthly supply, understand the absorption rate, understand how things are trending from quarter to quarter or year to year, right? Make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want to soften that in any way, Candace?
Nope, that was good.
All right. Lorinda, what is your one thing for today?
Continue with my care calls today.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Ashley, what's your one thing?
I am going to just get back into getting organized and sticking with my my block schedule, script practicing and lead genning right after this.
Beautiful, beautiful. I hope every time we do these role plays, guys, you get more and more evidence how important role play and script practice is. Like, if you don't practice with yourself or with your partner, you're going to be practicing on your clients. And the clients are hard to come by sometimes. Nadine, what is your one thing for today?
My one thing is just the way of expressing the care call versus trying to do a sales call. Basically, just knowing the difference, and then based on their response, then I would either lead it somewhere else or just let it remain a care call.
So let me actually give you a tiny bit of structure on that. Think of the only way that this is a care call, stick to the script of the care call. Drop in the notice about the cake that you sent or the recipe thing that you sent. And if they bring up any real estate desires whatsoever, then try to stick to the care call script, but book a time to go have a cup of coffee or a cocktail with them or stop by their house. And that's where you can talk about the real estate stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Marquio, what's your one thing today?
What I call my one thing is going to be for me to make 15 contacts today based off the scripts that I practiced yesterday with my script partner. Okay. So just trying to stay consistent with actually making calls with the scripts that I'm practicing the day before.
Excellent, excellent. Candace.
Setting 5 appointments.
Setting 5 appointments. Whoa, that's a lot. Oh, today's Thursday. I know what you do on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to beat you. That's my one thing. I want to beat you.
No, not going to happen. If you do 5, I'll do 6.
All right. See, some healthy competition ain't so bad, guys. We're both going to set more appointments today than we had imagined setting because we're competing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Tracy, what's your one thing? She's driving. We'll let her off the hook. All right. I hope today was helpful, you guys. Have a wonderful day.